Welcome back, everyone. Oz here. And today I've got some r/AmITheEx for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole relationships. Ooh, a new subreddit may have just been discovered. Don't mind me if I add that to my file here. Am I the asshole for arguing with my boyfriend because he talked to his female friend from school on the phone? So my, 20 female, boyfriend, 23 male, has these two girlfriends from college that he sometimes hangs out with. He claims to not like them and only talk with them so they help him with the exams. And so 2 weeks ago, he graduated. And obviously I thought that he would no longer be talking with these girls since school's over now. But then a week ago, one of those girls called him on the phone. He answered the phone and she asked him if he passed the makeup exam. He said yes, and asked her how she's doing. She didn't answer and asked him why he's been ignoring her texts. He said he didn't see them. He doesn't answer them on purpose because he doesn't want me to get jealous. And asked her how she's doing again. This went on until the fourth time he asked her. Then he asked her how her boyfriend is doing. I just don't understand. If he really doesn't like her, why is he still answering her calls? Ask her how she is, asking about her boyfriend. Then he hung up and I started making a sad face. When he asked me what happened, I exploded and started yelling at him and telling him to cut her off already. He told me that I'm not making sense and he's only talking with her so that she doesn't get sad. What are you to her that she gets so sad when she can't talk with you? He told me that I'm acting like a spoiled brat and that she did nothing wrong and she's not responsible for my nonsensical feelings. Then I started crying and told him it just bothers me hearing his voice next to another girl's. He said that if someone needs to be crying in this situation, it's me, and I don't deserve anything he does for me. Then I told him I want to leave and I walked home. We haven't been talking much since. Am I the asshole? So unfortunately, my dumbass had the thought of, oh yeah, no, these are both horrible people because the boyfriend's just using this poor girl for test answers and she's just overly jealous. To an obsessive extent. But then I realized that he told her that to try to coax the jealousy down because of just how she is. Like him asking about the boyfriend was him obviously trying to tell his girlfriend, hey, this is platonic. She's in a relationship. Like, we're just friends. But the problem is he's probably previously told her that we're just friends and she flipped her lid. I don't like hearing your voice next to another girl's. That's icky. That's gross. That's scary. Like, it sucks that he feels like he has to lie and come off as a manipulator in order for his girlfriend to feel like less stressed. He feels like he can't even message people who are clearly just friends because of how obsessively jealous his girlfriend is. Like, he has to just walk a tightrope in order to just maintain both his friendships and his girlfriend. Buddy, if I were you, I would run. This is not a healthy relationship to be in. She is, like, OP, if you broke down crying at the idea of hearing his voice next to another girl's, you should not be in a romantic relationship. You gotta do some growing up and some soul searching. This is not good. Like, I'm at a loss for words here. Like, there's also the additional comment of her, like, in the parentheses, what are you to her that she gets sad when she can't talk with you? A friend? I'd be pretty sad if my friend just started ghosting me and wouldn't talk with me, especially after something kind of important happened. Them passing a makeup exam that I assisted them with studying. Like, yeah, it makes sense that she'd be sad. Like, I gotta ask you guys, for those of you who can comment, this is crazy, right? Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. How do I, 35 female, convince my husband, 31 male, that a divorce is not the answer? My husband is very angry because my ex before him is in prison and has been in prison for a long time now. I do not communicate with him anymore. Honestly, I wasn't communicating with him the entire time my husband. I feel like there might be a word missing there. I love my husband and he has no reason to feel threatened. A long time ago, my ex-boyfriend was accused of a heinous crime. I won't get into the specifics, but he was sent to jail. I will not defend him or say the alleged victims are lying. I will say I have known him for a long time and really don't think he would do something like that, and he still proclaims his innocence. He went to prison and was found guilty. It was hard for me. He had a clean record and a good job, and the judge gave him an extremely cruel sentence if the accusations are false. He spoiled me while we were together, helped me accomplish goals that I never thought possible. He knew it would be unfair to ask me to wait, but I told him I would support him the way he did me, no matter what. So I put money in his commissary card all the time and buy him clothes and shoes occasionally. My husband found out and is angry. Because he didn't know and I should have been open, that is for sure. But I've only used my money. None of the money are joint account, nor do I talk to my ex. He's also upset because of what he thinks my ex did. I told him I wasn't there, I don't know if he did it or not, so I'm not going to abandon someone when I don't know 100% for sure. Last night he slept in the other room and was crying. It caused me to cry, but I just want to make sure we can talk with a clear head. He's taking the baby to my parents so we can talk. I know there were areas I was wrong, but I just want to articulate everything clearly. Hey, so what did your ex-boyfriend/husband do? And if he was convicted, those aren't alleged victims, those are victims. Like, what could the heinous crime possibly be that was so bad that your husband feels the need to sleep in another room because he found out you've been paying for his commissary card? Like, we're seeing victims plural. He has a cruel sentencing in your opinion, and it is so heinous that you know that you can't outright state what it was. You have to keep it as vague as possible. Like, I am left assuming the worst of the worst. Like, square one should be, I know that you made the promise you would support him no matter what, but at some point you need to put your future family ahead of the person who did something so heinous there's multiple victims involved and you're uncomfortable explaining what those crimes were, and your husband feels the need to lock himself away from you upon discovering you're paying for his commissary card. And you guys have a child together. You gotta put your current family before, assuming you guys aren't on the straight path to divorce. I'm actually kind of concerned to even conspire as to what the crime could possibly be, because I'm genuinely only left with some of the worst possible interpretations of what he did. I'm afraid even mentioning it might be a violation of YouTube's community guidelines. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for calling my girlfriend selfish for backing out of moving in with me? My girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 28 male, have been dating for about 2.5 years. We met right after college and have been very serious, except we don't live together. I wanted to move in together after a year, but she didn't want to, because her landlady/roommate gives her a good deal on rent. Her roommate's family is rich, and bought her an apartment because she has a lot of serious food allergies. She had roommates before, but some would forget and bring home the allergens, so she lived alone for a while. My girlfriend always remembers not to, and she's also a nurse, which makes the roommate's parents like her, as she knows how to use an EpiPen and respond to emergencies. She pays $700 all-inclusive on rent for a 2-bed, 2-bath, whereas a studio in their area is like $1,800, not including utilities. So I feel like the relationship is not going anywhere because she doesn't want to leave the cheap rent. But she could afford to pay more for rent, but won't, as long as her roommate doesn't kick her out. A few months ago, her roommate was laid off and was talking about moving cities if she couldn't find another job in this one. My girlfriend and I began talking about moving in together, as she would also need to leave in this case. We found the right place after looking for a while, but she refused to sign as her roommate found another job. I was pissed because we had spent a lot of time looking at apartments and now she won't sign. The place would have been $2,100 plus utilities, which means she would need to pay $1,200 to $1,300 a month, which isn't that bad given her salary. It's more than what she's paying with her roommate, but I don't know. I just feel like if she cared about a relationship, she would pay it, as we agreed we can't process without living together. Progress? She also recently paid off her student loans from saving money from paying low rent, and is now indulging herself. I've brought up moving in, or maybe getting engaged and buying property together, but she says she's worked hard her whole life, and now that her student loans are gone, she deserves some nice stuff. She's bought a lot of clothes and recently bought AirPods. She was showing them off to me, and I just said under my breath that she was choosing fancy headphones over us. She got mad and told me I was being ridiculous, and that if I could pay what she does for her rent, I would never want to leave either. I told her I would because I care about the relationship, and I'm not selfish enough to choose clothes or AirPods over moving in. She left my apartment and hasn't talked to me all weekend. I'm going to share a really embarrassing fact about myself when I was 19. Before moving to a new state to live with a specific ex, my monthly expenses as a 19-year-old was less than $500 for car, for insurance, and renting an office space for my father. I was extremely fortunate, I was extremely lucky, and I had little to no monthly expenses. I made the foolish and stupid decision to sacrifice that financial security for a relationship built on lies. Within a year and a half, being now a naive 20-year-old, being in a relationship with someone who I thought had my best interests in mind, I went from paying $500 a month to now thousands upon thousands of dollars every month for the kind of bullshit finances they locked me into, through co-signing, to loans and additional financial obligations that I truly did not need. I was a naive and foolish 20-year-old. After a decent amount of downsizing, I've since learned my lessons and I'm far better with my finances now, but this caused years worth of stress and debt that honestly did not need to happen. I hope that my past mistakes and naivete might help give some of you a better idea of what to do and not to do, and who not to trust. If you are financially comfortable and secure, and you want to build up a nice nest egg and actually have some financial stability in your life, and enjoy having low expenses, there's nothing wrong with that. And your boyfriend should be respecting that, but he's not. You just got your student loans paid off. You're practically debt-free at this point. Like, she's going from paying $700 to $1,200 to $1,300. And I'm also really kind of confused why a $2,100 apartment, why she's paying as much as she would be. Like, half of $2,100 is $1,050. Why is she paying $1,200 to $1,300? Utilities cannot be $250 to $500. That really feels like he's taking advantage of the situation and trying to get her to pay more than 50% of the rent. That's how that feels, because that math ain't mathin'. Tinfoil hat theory, he just wants to take advantage of the fact that his girlfriend makes really good money so he can live cheaper. It's not about progressing the relationship further, it's about him getting a better deal on his living expenses, and he's jealous of the fact that she pays so little. But that's just me. I'd love to hear your opinions and what you think on this one. Cross-posted from r/am_I_the_asshole, would I be the asshole public? Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend to stop being friends with one girl? So my, 25 female, boyfriend, 26 male, is part of a larger group. There are 4 guys, 23, 26, 26, 25, and 2 girls, 28, 24. One of them, Susan, gave me a bad impression from day one. At first, she was very quiet and shy, but when she started talking, I felt like she was flirting with everyone. At one point, I even felt like she was hitting on me, and it was uncomfortable. The next time we met, we went to her house, and it looked like something a teenage boy would decorate. I mean, it was clean, but she had suggestive posters of people in swimsuits in the living room. She also had a few nude figurines, both male and female. I even recognized some of the characters. After I left her place, I told my boyfriend that I was a little worried, and that I felt weird around her. He told that Susan is asexual and aromantic, and that they were friends since childhood, and she was always close to him, and he could always count on her. That was 2 years ago. Since then, I still don't feel comfortable with her. I'll admit it, sometimes I get the impression that she's not asexual at all. I also feel like she's very fake. She acts shy at first and then clings to any person and flirts with them. And the worst part is that no one ever stops her. The whole group thinks she's funny and cool, and when my sister met her, she thought Susan is great. In April, we had a party. Susan showed up, and while most of us were drunk, she made out with a girl. I was shocked. I asked my boyfriend about it, but he shrugged and said, everyone's made out with Susan before. She thinks it's funny. I asked him if he'd made out with her too. He said once, when they were teenagers. I thought about it for a long time after that, but I finally sat down with my boyfriend and told him my feelings again. I told him that Susan made me feel uncomfortable, that I didn't trust her, and that I couldn't stand being around her. He asked me what I wanted from him. I told him that if he was serious about our relationship, he had to end this friendship. He got mad at me, packed a few things, and left. He later wrote to me and apologized for leaving, but said I needed to grow up, and that he could ask Susan to tone down her behavior, but he wasn't going to end the friendship. I told him that wasn't enough. He didn't answer since then. Huh. This is a rare AmITheEx post where OP is definitely probably the X by the end of it. Hey, you know the childhood friend that you've had for like all your life? Yeah, if you're serious with this relationship, leave her, because I'm uncomfortable around her. I know my audience has a surprising number of asexual and aromantic people, so I'm sure some of you can probably better explain Susan's behavior in the comments section better than I ever could. But if everyone in the friend group is fine with Susan, including OP's sister, who thinks she's great, then this is definitely just an OP problem. Like, from the get-go. You don't like the way that she socializes with people. You ragged on her house because she decorates it like a weeb. It happens. It's just how some people want to decorate. If it makes them happy, who the hell cares? It's clean, they have their shit together. So what? Like, seriously. And like, you're so bent out of shape because everyone seems to like Susan, but you don't, and you're uncomfortable by her, that your solution is you can no longer be friends with Susan, the person you've known for a majority of your life, because I don't like her. You've known him for 2 years. He's known Susan for most of his life. Sorry, darling. This isn't gonna go the way you think it will. One additional note that I want to make about aroace people that, I've come to learn is that while they may be asexual or aromantic, a lot of them still do enjoy the form, figure, and physique of the human body, and just have a non-sexual appreciation for it. Now, that is to say that not all of those goobers and ghouls are like that. That's just something that I've noticed. But my ending opinion, you're the asshole. Everyone likes Susan. You don't. Even your sister likes Susan. You're trying to find any reason you possibly can. Should your boyfriend have told you that he made out with Susan when they were teenagers? Yeah, probably. I don't think that's an indication that he was trying to hide something, though. I just think it probably slipped his mind. But should you be pretty much giving your boyfriend an ultimatum to abandon a childhood friend because she makes you uncomfortable? No. That's shitty behavior. Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. I, 30 female, crashed out on my long-term boyfriend, 31 male, this weekend, and I feel that I ruined the relationship. My boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 30 female, have been together for 11 years, with a short breakup last year. We've had our issues, mainly around feeling stuck and me struggling with insecurity and control. I used to get upset when he went out without me, and did not let him go out without friends, most of our relationship, even though he never stopped me from doing my own thing. We've since gotten back together and things have been improving. We're both stable in our careers, talking about moving in, engagement, and we have a trip to Greece in 6 weeks to visit his family. Lately, he's been going out more with new friends, mostly to rave/DJ events that are not really my cup of tea. He invites me, I decline, and then I spiral. I blow up his phone, accuse him of cheating, demand reassurance, and basically panic whenever he's not with me. Over the 4th of July weekend, I was out of town visiting family. He stayed behind and kept in touch, sending pics, videos of him and his friends, checking in, etc., but I still freaked out. Called him 45 times and made a bunch of accusations. Ooh. He got really upset. I apologized and he continued to text with me until I landed back home this morning. Once I landed, he asked if I wanted to go to the beach with him, so I did. He was also out all weekend and actually was hanging out with his new friend all night/into the morning, but still asked to go to the beach with him. Before we drove to the beach, he told me to save my apologies because I kept saying sorry and my actions don't change. He said he loves me and wants to stay together, but he's starting to feel resentful. He wants space to have his own friends and identity without being punished for it. He teared up when he talked and said he doesn't want to break up, and he still wants to go to Greece with me. But he also doesn't know how to help me with my obsessiveness and insecurities anymore. My behavior makes him want to break up with me and be single and enjoy going out versus the treatment I've been giving him. I feel like I royally messed up everything within days. I don't want to lose him, but I know I've created a dynamic where I'm clinging so tightly that I'm choking the relationship and pushing him far away. Can I come back from this? I want to look at a comment from user AbsoluteBeast_. So, this sounds abusive, and it's kind of shocking that more people aren't pointing that out. Demanding constant updates if they leave the house, having their location on and looking at it, and even if they do follow the rules, their night is still ruined by a barrage of texts and calls full of accusations and presumably insults. This is an abuse tactic to try to make going out so miserable for him that he just stops, successfully isolating him from his friends and other loved ones. Mental illness is an explanation, but it's not an excuse. This woman needs therapy now. Desolate Cat responds, the kicker is that her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend asked, I cannot believe I figured out that acronym on the fly. Soon-to-be ex-boyfriend asked her to go with him, but she refused. She just wants to manipulate him by blowing up his phone so he doesn't go out with his friends ever again. She said it herself. She wants him to spend all of his free time with her and her only. I don't understand why this doormat boyfriend stayed with her for 11 years. If a significant other texted me 5 times in one night accusing me of cheating on them with no basis, I would be single before dawn even breaks. Not a Planet responds. Quoting the previous comment, the kicker is that her soon-to-be ex-boyfriend asked her to go with him, but she refused. Yeah, my controlling ex used to do that all the time. I'd invite him to come hang out with friends, and he would say no. But then, he'd send me increasingly nasty texts the entire time I was gone, accusing me of ditching him, not caring about him, prioritizing other people over him, etc. Like, dude, I literally asked you to come with me. But looking back, he didn't actually think I was ditching him. He wanted me to stop hanging out with people entirely. I wanted to include these comments because even if this is not her intention, even if she is just genuinely over-paranoid, she needs to understand that her actions are abusive, that her tactics are controlling, manipulative. And if she can't realize that and correct her behavior, assuming this is on accident, then she is going to have an ex-boyfriend very soon. Because this kind of behavior does build resentment, it builds uncertainty, it makes you feel like you're not allowed to be yourself or live your own life without receiving hundreds of text messages and calls from your significant other accusing you of cheating on them when you invited them to go out with you. That's entirely unfair. And I understand that in a relationship, anxiety is a bitch. I get that. But you have to make sure, assuming that your actions here are anxiety-driven and not just straight-up manipulative abuse, that you aren't letting your anxiety have so much of a chokehold and control over your life that you're actively allowing it to destroy those around you. Go to therapy, get some help, talk with your boyfriend, and see what you can do to better manage this. And if you don't feel like you're ever going to be able to have a relationship with your boyfriend that doesn't involve you spam calling him 45 plus times a night, then you should take a step back and try to grow as a person and just let him live. Because this is just no way to maintain a healthy relationship. And don't be surprised if he does end up leaving you if you continue this behavior. Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. I, 28 female, threatened my husband, 30 male, with divorce over another woman's lies. How can I fix this? My, 28 female, husband, 30 male, and I have been together for 6 years and married for 4, with 2 kids, 3 female, 1 female. My husband is everything to me. He's amazing in every way, and I couldn't possibly ask for a better husband and father for our daughters and future children. I love this man more than anything, and my absolute worst fear is losing him. He works an office job, but also occasionally teaches a weekend morning yoga/meditation class at the gym he goes to. 2 months ago, a woman who's a fitness influencer with a following of about 20,000 recently started regularly attending his classes and asked to take a selfie, saying that she wanted to give my husband in the gym a shout out for organizing the yoga classes. She took 3 selfies of the 2 of them, and in the last one, she randomly kissed my husband on the cheek, and my husband made it clear that he had no interest in her. My husband told me what happened that very day, and he never followed her back or gave her his number. And I felt thankful and happy that my husband was honest and upfront with me about someone else testing the waters with him, and him shutting her down. A few days later, this woman somehow found my social media and requested to follow me, which I denied. I kept a close eye on her social media for a little while, and a few days after that, she changed her profile picture to one of the selfies of her and my husband. I randomly showed up to my husband's next yoga classes, and afterwards, I gave her a piece of my mind to leave my husband and I alone. Her profile picture went back to what it was before, and I thought it was the end of that. I kept showing up to my husband's yoga classes, and she was always there too, and she would try to make small talk, but I mostly ignored her until she eventually apologized and admitted she was out of line. Over the next few weeks, we became okay and somewhat friends, despite my husband telling me to not get close with her or trust her. Over this past weekend, I got a text from her telling me that she felt guilty about hiding the truth and sent me several screen recordings worth of messages between her and my husband talking bad about me, the lies he would tell me, plans to hook up, etc. It all seemed real, and there was no way I could have known it was all fake, especially since she had been very friendly to me in the past few weeks. I confronted my husband, and he denied it all, and I didn't believe him. I accused him of deleting the messages from his phone. I said terrible things to him and told him to leave our home and never speak to me again. I told him that we were done and that I would be filing for divorce and he would never see our daughters again. I got on a call with her to get all the details and I caught her in a lie, and I pressed her about it, and she confessed it was all a lie, and she broke down and said she just wanted my husband. I immediately called my husband and begged him to come home and apologized for everything I did and said to him. Today, he came home after work and played with our daughters for a little while and left again once they were in bed. He's been ignoring me almost completely, and he's fully right to do so. I know I made several mistakes, becoming her friend despite my husband telling me not to, trusting her screen recordings, not trusting my husband's love and loyalty to me, and kicking him out of our home. It's all my fault. I cried myself to sleep last night, and tonight won't be any different. I can't do this without him. He's my everything, and I feel like I've lost him. I know he'll be back tomorrow after work, and that will be my best chance to try talking and apologizing to him. What can I do to fix this and earn my husband's trust back? I've thought of everything from writing him a letter telling him how sorry I am and how much I love him and admire him, to forcing a hug, to cooking his favorite dish, to suggesting some sort of counseling for us, but I don't know what to actually do. So this is a fucked situation because OP was delivered evidence of her husband cheating. Fabricated evidence, mind you, but it's still damning evidence. Like, this fitness influencer ghoul set up the perfect fabrication, this perfect hellstorm to unleash on them, from initially starting out with just a simple quick kiss and updated profile picture to cause some suspicions and anger, followed up with the luck of the fact that the husband recommended the wife not befriend her, which is definitely already going to create some suspicions there, and then a well-placed apology, befriending her, following up with, "I just can't hide this from you anymore," and then screen recordings of a bunch of text messages that show the husband's infidelity. That is fucked up, like without a doubt, and the wife got screwed over. And I can't blame her for the initial reaction because the pieces just fell perfectly into place. And that fucking sucks. The fitness influencer set out to purposely do damage, and she got exactly what she wanted. I mean, of course, hindsight's 20/20, and she definitely should have confronted the fitness influencer and asked her thorough questions, or talk with her husband and see if either party could have been caught in a lie. Something along those lines. Hell, even just asking her to verify the number or screen recorder opening up the contact information from where the text messages supposedly came from. Something along those lines. But emotions were high, and she did just get a drop of screen recorded messages from the influencer's phone that were apparently from her husband. I honestly don't know how you can recover or repair this level of trust being destroyed by a third party, because she pitted them against each other and she won. How do you fix that? Like, this is a genuine question. Like, they got fucked over. What path could OP actually take to try and fix this? Because, not to mention, of course, when all this happened, when she was under the stress and rage from the fitness influencer's fake message drop, she crossed a line by threatening the husband with never seeing the kids again, with minimal evidence from someone the husband specifically said, "Don't befriend her." Like, from the husband's point of view, he sees this as, influencer comes in, takes selfies with me, makes selfies profile picture, befriends my wife. I tell my wife not to do that. She does it anyways. Influencer fakes cheating messages. She believes them, without a second doubt, or even just asking or talking to me about it or trying to verify the information, threatens to take the kids away from me, says horrid things to me, kicks me out of the house, and then, after finally trying to verify the messages, learns they were a lie. Like, I sympathize with the wife being so thoroughly bamboozled, but I also extremely feel for the husband that he tried to warn her and felt the consequences of his wife not listening to him, and he's the one that had to feel the pain for it. Like, how would you go about fixing this? Because someone meddled in their relationship and purposely did anything they could to split them apart. And it kind of fucking sucks. They won. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to stay in our home instead of sleeping at her sister's all the time? I don't even know where to start. I'm tired, like soul-deep tired. Every night I get home from work exhausted, sweaty, starving, and guess what? I open the door to a quiet, dark house. No wife, no dinner, no note. Just me and the same cold silence. She's always at her sister's, like always. Not just visiting for a few hours, sleeping there. Most nights of the week. Sometimes I don't see her for 2, 3 nights straight. She says it's just more comfortable there, or she's used to it, or her sister needs company. But what about me? I didn't marry her just to live alone like a bachelor again. What's the point of having a wife if I'm eating instant noodles in silence every night while she's out there, acting like she's still single or like her sister is her actual partner? I finally snapped. I told her straight, "Can you please stay home? This is our house. I come home to no one. It's starting to feel like I'm not even married." She didn't yell. She just looked at me and said, "You know how close I am with my sister. You knew this before we got married." And yeah, I did know they were close, but I didn't think I'd married a ghost. Now she's mad at me for controlling her. Her sister even sent me a long message about how I'm isolating her and being insecure. But I swear to God, all I'm asking for is a wife who actually lives with me, who I can talk to at night, eat with, wake up next to. Isn't that what marriage is supposed to be? She says I'm selfish, but is it really selfish to want your partner to come home? Am I the asshole? Look, I feel bad because that's just the tone that this was written in. I can't help but to not read it that way just because of how it's structured. But this is one where I'm kind of in a weird like middle boat here where like I can understand the husband's frustrations where it's like, we're married, but you're never home and I feel like I'm alone. Like I come home to an empty house and it's just nothing. Granted, there's also a few other insertions there that make me question what he actually wants from the marriage. And at the same time, you know, the wife is given the, well, you knew how close I was with my sister when we married. And it's like, yeah, I did, but I didn't think I'd be marrying someone who would be living with her sister. Like, it honestly just sounds like these two just aren't compatible with each other. The husband just sounds frustrated with the fact that, like, he married someone and it doesn't feel like he's in a marriage. And who knows? We're left with the vague explanation that the wife feels more comfortable at her sister's house. Whatever that might mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, introspection time, Mr. Husband. Because it comes off that she's just not interested in the marriage, at a minimum, or maybe her sister has some kind of like medical condition that requires her to be over more often. Or hell, maybe you've done something that makes your wife feel uncomfortable living under the same roof as you. There are so many possibilities here with so little information, but at the end of the day, no matter what, OP is dissatisfied with the fact that he comes home to an empty house and has to eat cup of noodles in the dark and alone in silence. Like at some point, buddy, you've just got to realize that like this marriage is either done for and you should just move on and stop wasting your own time. Or maybe instead of commanding that your wife comes home, you ask her, hey, why are you staying with your sister so often? Is there anything I can do to help? What can I do to be a better husband? Can the sister come over here more often so I feel less alone? There's a lot of paths and a lot of options that you can take here that just feels like you're ignoring them. But I don't know. I'd be interested to see what you guys in the comments think because this does feel like there's a lot of information that we're just not privy to. But no matter what, it does sound like the wife has clocked out of the marriage and she's just not interested anymore. The reasons why? We have no idea. We can certainly make some inferences based upon OP's initial post here, but the main meat and potatoes are missing. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.